Hello, people. Yes, you're welcome to the Puff Puff Show. And I'm your boy, your host, Dr. Timey. What's going on, people? Yes, I know you've been waiting for this. You've been waiting for us to have a chat again. Yes, we're back here. And I've got a very, very nice guest for you. Yeah, a friend of mine, a very good guy, El-Amin DPain Malik. Let me tell you something about this guy before he comes on, man, bro. He's an aspiring world champion boxer. And he's got a story to tell. And we're just going to go through his life story and just talk about, just different stuff here. El-Amin, what's going on, bro? How's it going?
Everything's good, man. Thanks for allowing me to come on this podcast. I appreciate it. And, time for the people to hear my story and what I'm about. I think it's about time people listen to what I have to say. And, this is many more interviews and podcasts to come in the future. But I think this is the right time. But I appreciate it. And thanks a lot for
your coming out time, yeah?
Yeah, my coming out time. I'm new to this, guy. So, just get used to me.
Fantastic. So let's talk about your background. So you're a boxer.
Yeah, I'm a boxer.
You just recently turned pro.
Yeah. Last year May was my debut, so nearly a year coming up. Time goes quick, so it's been a while. But we need to get back in the ring soon. But yeah, it's been you can say
fantastic.
Less than a year.
Okay, that's interesting. So let's talk about your young days. Like, what led you into boxing? Like, all the way. Have you always wanted to box? And if so, when was that?
I never say I always wanted to box. It always started off like in that kind of field, in a kind of fighting kind of. I was always interested in fighting. I was like fighting since I was a kid. So it started off with WWE. So when I was like, you can say about 5-6 years old, I got into wrestling. I used to love watching WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. Back then it was like John Cena and all these other wrestlers that I used to look up to, want to be like. So around that time when I was 6, I wanted to be a wrestler. So after that, when I found out wrestling was fake and stuff, I got put off it.
Like, you didn't like, the whole acting and stuff like that.
Yeah, I never knew it was acting at the beginning. That's the funny thing about it. I always thought it was real.
Yeah.
And I used to want to be like that. And I used to watch it every weekend, make sure I wake up early for it. So I was proper into it, like how I'm with boxing right now. Yeah. I was with wrestling.
So who kind of was watching boxing? Like I used to watch wrestling when I was young, and it was because my dad was really into WWE. We used to watch, is it Royal Rumble?
Royal Rumble. I remember that used to come on in January. Yeah. That was like that January kind of time when they had Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
End of the month.
Actually, I named a dog of mine Razor Ramon.
Who's Ramon?
Razor Ramon, I think, was one of these wrestlers. He was one of the popular ones that went with like Hulk Hogan and Undertaker and all these other guys. But yeah, no, definitely. So who in your household? Because mine was my dad. He used to watch a lot of wrestling. So who in your household was watching wrestling at that time?
Now, for me, my household is no one really. Actually, it was just like when I think my friends used to watch it, and all of us used to watch it. It was that kind of thing. I think it was among us friends. I'm not sure exactly, but I know sure there was no one really in my household. I just took interest in it when I started to watch it. It was like the entertainment, and just like how boxing is entertainment. So it's like I think it was natural for me to just go into boxing later on. Yeah. It was something it was meant to be. I believe.
So from there, how did you transition into the whole idea of boxing then?
So from that point, I remember when around that age, as I like wrestling, I remember during that time I done karate for a little while. Okay. I was into like kung fu
How old were you?
I was probably like 8, 9. I remember I wanted to do it earlier, but my mom never allowed me to do it because she was fighting is dangerous. I don't want him to be using it in the house and stuff.
Yeah.
So I remember she never used to allow me to go, but I always wanted to go. And then when I went, I done a few sessions. I didn't really like it at the beginning. Then after a while, I thought, let me try out boxing.
Yeah.
I just tried it out just to see how it is.
Yeah.
Even at that age, not knowing what I wanted to do, I never had no aspirations of getting anywhere in boxing, but I just thought, let me go into a club and see how it goes. So I went into a club, and as a kid, you don't take it serious.
Yeah.
You go for fun, mess about. It just past time, after school, after what was I, like year 8, I was like probably like 12 years old.
Okay.
So after school, just
so you were like 12 when you stepped into boxing?
Yeah, I was about 12. Yeah. Okay. I wasn't like dedicated or disciplined. I wasn't going regular. I used to go like once or twice a week on a weekend.
Yeah.
But I used to like going. Just the place to have fun. It was something different.
Yeah.
It wasn't like anything else. If I wasn't doing that, I don't know what else I'd be doing. So I just went to the gym once or twice a week.
So at what point did you realize that even though you were messing around at 12,
Yeah.
At what point did you realize that this is what I want to be doing?
I think around 14, because through school system, like I was never really interested in school like that. Like I never saw myself going to college. I never ever visioned myself getting like a normal job,
Yeah.
because I wanted to come wrestler as a kid. So that automatically, like I wanted to do something with fighting or something different. Not just to, you know, make a difference in the world. Like always had a bigger vision since a little kid. I wanted something bigger, you know.
At what point did you realize that you wanted to actually just box?
So actually become it, like, you know, do it for a career kind of thing.
Yeah, like for a career. When did you realize that this is, because you know, you said you were 12, you realized that, you know, you were just doing it for fun, it was stuff that you just like, and then you got to like 14 and you kind of realized that I wouldn't. But what happened between 12 and 14 that got you to that space of thinking, yeah, I really like to do this? Did you watch something? And even before then, what was the journey in between 12 and making that decision in your head? Because 14 is quite a young age. Not a lot of people think about knowing or actually know what they want to do early enough, to be honest. You know, people are still in their 40s and not even sure what they want to do. So yeah, so talk to us about it.
So I think it all started when I was younger, during the time when I was watching the wrestling, WWE. So during that time, my mom had introduced me to, you know, films like Rocky and stuff, and the other films that she used to watch while she was younger, and she used to like them films, and she just told me to watch them and see how it is. She's like, I remember her saying, watch Rocky and you won't watch wrestling again. This is better than WWE. So I remember, I watched Rocky 4 at first, and I liked it. I don't know, something about it. It just gave me that kind of, you know, from there I just wanted to do I had that idea in my mind to do boxing, and then from there I think over the years, you know, it was always on my mind. You know, you have that back of your mind. So I had that thought in my mind about doing boxing, and then around the age of 9, my mom bought me a punch bag for my birthday. I didn't even expect it. I didn't even know. I remember I used to use that in my bedroom, because where I was living that time I never had a garden, so I couldn't hang it up. We used to live like in a maisonette, like a flat. So we lived there, so I used to have it in my room just on the side, and I used to just punch it now and again without gloves.
Wow.
Yeah, whenever I felt like it. So I think from that age, and then as I got to 14, like you're saying, it's like I just didn't want to do nothing else. I just wanted to do boxing. It just felt like it's something for me and something I can, you know. As I got older, of course, there was, you know, you kind of fall off. You kind of, even though I had it on my mind, but you know, you don't really know what you really want to do. And then I knew that it's the only thing I can do, and what I know is boxing. Even though I wasn't getting anywhere like where I was at, because there was no coaches really taking interest in me or you know, helping me out. I thought I need to make my own way and do what I have to do, and just you know, stay focused. And I always knew I'll get there, but I didn't know how, so I just carried on.
So let's go back to when you were like, you know, well, what were the challenges like? Because you said you weren't really interested in schooling. It wasn't really your thing. You didn't really want to, you know, pursue that. And obviously a lot of parents always want their kid to like go like, you know, work in the office and do like all these different professional work.
100%.
And boxing is one of those, or just martial arts in terms of competing in martial arts, is one of those that a lot of parents don't really like encourage. And not just even parents, you know, a lot of times society as well sometimes don't look at it as a day job or an actual job, you know, and they don't really understand why people enjoy doing things like that. So yeah, just talk about the challenges in between, because I think you've mentioned stuff about, you know, how people didn't really believe in you, and there's something very important about, you know, someone saying something to you in school about boxing, and how your friends and everyone used to just, you know, not really rate you because of that.
Yeah, 100%. Like you have a lot of challenges, especially when you do want to do something different. You know, people don't really take you serious. Because me growing up from that age, that's what I wanted to do. No one took me serious because they knew I was a failure at school, so they used to always bring that up. Where you gonna be? Because they used to kind of say I'm gonna be nothing, I'm gonna be on the streets and stuff. That's the kind of plan, they already planned out my life before I got to that age. It was crazy. I used to think, why are they thinking like this? Just because I'm messing up in school don't mean I'm gonna, you know, fail in life or ruin my whole life. And at the same time, they used to kind of, you know, bring up my father. I don't really like to call him father because he's never there. He left when I was a kid, so they used to kind of compare me to him, or you're gonna end up like him, or you're gonna be like him. And that used to upset me as a kid, because I never ever you know, I've never even spent a day with him in my life. And the stories I used to hear about him, how he was, of course I don't really know how he was, but from what I've heard, you know, that used to upset me. So I had always had stuff like that back on my mind, not having a father and stuff. And I thought that you know, with most kids, or you know, boys that don't grow up with fathers, most of the time, you know, you hear stories that they may end up, you know, on the streets,
or just doing stuff
doing stuff they're not supposed to.
So mention, I really want you to talk about that, you know, that period in school where, you know, a bit about the teacher.
yes.
Yeah. So yeah. Talk about that.
Also in school, like when they ask you throughout the years, especially year 10, year 11, when you're about to apply for college, you know, I used to get asked what do I want to do, what do I want to apply for in college. I used to always say, I'm going to become a boxer. That's what I always had in my mind. And I used to say it straight away because I was proud of it and that's something I really wanted to do. And they used to dismiss it straight away and laugh, literally think I'm joking. Or they used to say, pick something serious that's not serious. They used to laugh in my face. And that used to, like, back in my mind, I used to think one day, what I'm going to show you, all you teachers, I'm going to come up in a school, drive my Lambo, I'm going to show you that. When I'm driving Lambo, then you'd be like, okay, he was all wrong.
He said it. So that feeling,
that's what I had.
Did you ever feel like at that point, how old were you when you year 10, 11?
I was like 14, 15.
14, 15.
Yeah.
Okay, so at 14, 15, you pretty much had nailed that. Look, this is what I'm going to be doing. And that was what you tell everyone. And,
just tell everybody.
You know, no one would really take you seriously.
Nobody.
And the funny thing about it, the Pain here, as I'd call him, he's quite a slim build guy. So obviously that contributes to people not looking at you like someone who would succeed, because a lot of the times when it comes to fighting and you know, martial arts and, you know, combat sport, people kind of reckon if you're big, you're strong and all that kind of stuff, that's the look. But I don't think they realize that it's a skill. But yeah, so yeah, you were talking about, you know, the fact that, you know, people didn't really. So how did that play up on your mind as a young guy who didn't have a dad? Because I'm sure at some point we're going to have to do, but probably on another episode, because that's going to be deep, talking about not having your dad around. But what was the impact of not obviously being with your dad, and the fact that people just didn't believe in you even when you said it? How did you feel as the person inside going around with this negative energy?
I think as a kid I did feel it a lot. Of course it plays up you mentally later on in life, like you have doubts and stuff, and then because of the stuff they put them doubts in you, like they want you to feel like that. Because even at home, in school, like I was saying, the teachers, everyone doubted me, even at home, because during that time I was at my grandma's house, got kicked out from school fighting and stuff, so I used to be kicked out in school most of the time kicked out. So yeah, it just at that time it used to, you know, as a kid you get upset when they say stuff like that. You think your own family or the people that teachers,
so even people like members of your family would say like, you're not going to make it in this stuff that you're thinking.
Yeah, they used to say it all the time to me, like this is something they probably know even now. Of course I haven't spoken to them about it since, but they probably know. They used to say to my face, I'm not gonna get anywhere in life. I don't know why they used to say it. I think because of how I was at school, so they automatically thought I was a bad kid. But I just never liked school. It never felt like it was never for me. I just wanted to be something greater. And they used to say to me, like you said, I'm slim. I was always been a slim kid, so they thought, oh, this guy's got no strength, he's got no power, he can't make it in boxing, he's gonna get punched and get knocked out. That's what they used to say to my face. And I always knew, I thought if you see boxers at the top now can do it, why can't I do it? I always thought like that. And I was still young at the time, and they used to say to me, it's too late. I think how's it too late? Even though I never knew as much as I know about boxing, but back then I knew plenty of boxers started around 14, 15. Even though I started a bit earlier, but so they always put me down. But I always wanted to prove them wrong. I think that gave me the fuel and gave me the kind of fire inside me. It just carried on, like till now. I still got it inside me. So you know, just that.
So how did you get from that whole experience with people knocking you down, and then you transition into being an adult now? Obviously adult life is different. You got to look after yourself. You still got this vision of, you know, being a boxer. How did you make that transition from that up until getting into, I know obviously we've had you know, sparring sessions, little play about, we've had, you know, padding sessions, and obviously I met you at the boxing gym.
Yeah, exactly, that's where we met,
which is what the workout factory.
The gym is shut down and was a very good gym. You know, it's a lot of memories in that gym. That's where we started. That's where I met Dr. Timey.
Yeah, man. And I tell you what, this guy is slim, but he's got a lot of power. He's got a lot of skill. And to be honest with you, I was happy to meet someone, because a lot of the times I find that a lot of people are not positive and are not really determined about what they want to do. And sometimes even when they know what they want to do, they allow the negative energy around them, you know, the people they hang out around who don't really believe in what they want to achieve. And also everyone's got self-doubt, you know what I mean? We've got things going on, we've got things in life, we've got things that happen, you know, when we're growing up. But I was quite interested because you remain positive and very sure about fact that this is what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I was 100% sure. I knew no one could stop me from getting to where I need to get to. Like, I made up my mind as a kid. I knew this is all I got, and it's time for me boxing. It's time to prove to the whole, not just the family or the people around me, just prove to the world like what I can do and what I'm capable of doing. Because I know I'm not on this world for just to just, not saying a 9 to 5 job is bad, but everyone's got a different hustle. But I feel like I'm here for something greater. Like, I truly always believe that. Because the stuff I went through growing up, not having a father, and I'm not saying I'm on the right path. I'm not perfect, but I somehow managed to stay on the right path. Of course, you have good people around you. Like, I met Dr. Timey later on. He impacted my life too. Later on in my life, 100%, to keep me on the right path, and him being a positive person, being around him, the energy. That's the type of people you need in your life. But I feel like
thank you for that, guys.
100%, man.
So let me give myself a round of applause. What was that? What was that? That didn't sound like a round of applause, did it? Ooh, that's like something.
That's something that I'll be doing, man.
That's a slap. All right, here we go. I got the right one now. So yeah, let me give myself a round of applause because listen, I was, like I said, I was very interested in knowing you and trying to understand where you're going and why you're going to do this. And we got to the part where you decided you wanted to have your first pro fight.
Yeah, I think we spoke before that. I mean, we met, it was like a year or two, and then I always wanted to turn pro. That was on my mind, but of course I kept quiet about it. I just wanted to just keep staying in the gym, and I didn't know when I was going to turn pro, but I knew that was the plan. And then it happened.
So what was that? What was that process like? What made you determined to get a fight? Because this is the thing, right? You want to turn pro. You have a vision to become world champion, right? Yeah. But the whole thing is you've got steps to take to get there. And in the process of taking those steps, you've got challenges in terms of mental health challenges. You've got financial challenges, you've got family challenges, you just got everything going on. So talk us through like what was going on through that process between deciding that you wanted to have your first pro fight. What happened to you mentally? What were you thinking about? Did you tell anyone? What was their response? How were you dealing with everything around you to get you to that first pro fight? Because your first pro fight was where? Where was it again?
It was in Tijuana, Mexico. It's a place that is known for, especially on the media, it's known for a lot of bad things. You know what I'm talking about. You see on the media.
I know.
The people listening also would know what I'm talking about. Tijuana, known for a place, gun gangs and all sorts of things. The place where you would want to be. But of course, when I went to fight, I went there to fight and just go there, do what I have to do the business and come back. That was the plan.
Yeah.
That's what I went there for. Sorry.
No, so I was saying, so like before the process mentally, before you got to that point of deciding that you're going to go to Tijuana now, what happened to you mentally? How do you deal with that whole, were you doubting yourself? Did you tell your mom? Did you tell people around? What was the response? How did it go? Like to get you to the point where you still decided to hop on the plane and go to Mexico and go to Tijuana and get this first fight done?
So basically for me, like most of my life, everything I done was all on my own. So I never really told anybody. So every decision I made was based on like how I felt and what I felt was best for me. Of course, with advice later on when I met you, I spoke to you. That's all I needed. Like me telling my mom or telling anyone else, it wouldn't really make a difference because I had made my mind up. There's no need for me to speak to people, family or people who doubted me. They will straight away say, "You're crazy. Why are you going all the way to Tijuana? What are you going to do out there? Start in the UK and do your career." Because they already doubted me anyway. They knew I wouldn't. They already, decided my whole life in their head already. So they've
kind of figured out that you're just gonna fail.
You're gonna fail, exactly.
You're not gonna come up to anything. And it's interesting because I tell you what, that's one of the things, and it's interesting that you probably want to class your family members as part of your haters, isn't it?
Yeah. Most of your family, it don't matter. Like even your family can be your haters. It happens.
And how have you dealt with that? Like people who just doubted you and just felt like, dude, you're not gonna like literally they come out with these words out of their mouth like you're not gonna come anything. And if you go on this path, you're not going to be successful. Like literally, they actually literally say that to you. How do you take? Because words are powerful,
Yeah,
words are powerful. So how did you deal with that? How did you, as a young guy? Because Pain here, he's a very young man, by the way. Don't listen to that baritone, whatever. he's a young guy. So yeah, how did you deal with that? How did you overcome that whole process?
I think growing up, so it was of course it was hard hearing that at first. It was upsetting as a kid. Of course, you start crying and stuff. You go through the emotions. You think like, because at that time you feel like you have nobody else. So of course I had my mom, but I was kicked out my house, so I was at my grandparents' house. So it's like I had nobody. Like, who do I turn to for help? Who can I talk to? So I feel like I've always been alone. So everything I've done is alone. So I feel like I had to become or grow up at a young age. I had to become a man. I feel like that age I had to decide for myself what I want to do. I think that's where it started from. I had to become strong from that age, and I just had to make my mind up what I want to do and stay on the right path, and just to inspire people and just change my life for the better and prove people wrong and do something they would never imagine me to do. And I feel like I'm on a path. I'm on my way on doing that. Of course, got a long way to go, but yeah, as a kid it's hard. I think it can either make you or break you as a kid. Most kids might get to them, and they may
just
ruin
give up and
forget
exactly about what they wanted to do and what they wanted to achieve because of these words that people kind of like kind of say to them. And I've always said this to people, that at the end of the day the decision's down to you.
100%. They ain't gonna help you. They're not gonna be there for you. If you fail in life, they're gonna say to you, oh, this is what we expected to happen. We knew that was gonna happen. You're right. They're just waiting, just watching, in the background, just waiting patiently for you to fail. Because that's what they see. That's where they see you at. They see you nowhere in life.
Yeah.
That's what they expected of me, of course.
Yeah, 100%.
So not having a father, and the way I was like in high school, the way I was, I wasn't a good student at all. So from what they saw in high school, they automatically
just wrote you off.
It wrote me off straight away. Like, that's it. He's done. He's he's just another kid without a father, and it's another guy on the list.
That kind of thing.
Just another guy on the list.
Tick him off.
Yeah, tick him off. He's one of them. And I knew I was far from that. I never even thought like that. So when they said that, I was shocked. When they used to think that, I was kind of shocked. I think, is that what they think of me? Wow, that's crazy. Your own family thinking of you like that. And I was a young kid, so I knew what I wanted to do. And I'm still on the journey. My story's not over. Got a long way to go. But all this that happened was me growing up. There's a lot more to the story that we speak about definitely on another podcast. But by the father situation, about the stepdad situation, how that was, that wasn't good either. Because having a stepdad and a first father, they were the same. I never had the support from them. All that pain and stuff. That's the reason why they call me the pain.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So you came up with that name. But let's talk about, before we come into that whole having to express that pain in the ring, when you decided to fly to Mecca, right?
Yeah.
What was it like? Because this is now your first fight. This is now becoming real.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You, from like 14 years old, decided that this is what you're thinking, this is what you're likely going to be doing. And you get to that point where you feel like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then now you're here. It's time.
You're going back.
Right? I mean, like you're about to get into your first professional fight, really.
Yeah, 100%.
How was that? What was the feeling like? What was going through your mind in the locker room or wherever you were, before you started walking into that ring? Talk us through the process of what was happening.
I mean, it was something I dreamed of all my life. So even though I wasn't there, in my mind, I was already there not long ago. So me turning pro or having that fight, it was like nothing new to me. It's like I already had done it, even though I was there. But of course it was reality, because it was like, this is what I've been waiting for. But of course you go through your emotions, you go through nerves and a bit of excitement and everything that I went through. I had to reflect over everything that I went through, and I knew this is my time. This is what I was waiting for. I'm supposed to be here. This is the kind of mindset I had, even though of course you go through emotions. It's natural. But as soon as I was in Tijuana, as soon as I went to Tijuana, Mexico, before the fight, I knew this is time. This is where I'm gonna fight. Have my first pro fight. And as soon as I went in the ring, of course it's not easy. anyone can just step in the ring like that. You gotta have a lot of heart. You gotta have big balls, like they say.
Bro,
it's crazy.
Tell me about it, bro. So my people will say you should have eaten fufu. You know what fufu is? Fufu is like I don't even know how to explain it, but it's like a very solid piece of milk that keeps you strong when you go into that. It's pure energy stuff. But yeah, you should have had some fufu, bro.
Yeah, man, you should have gave me some before I left to Mexico.
I should have given you some of that with some egusi soup.
It would have helped me out even more, man.
I'm telling you. But yeah, so you were like, walking to that ring. You were thinking about. Did you think about what people used to say Did that come across your mind? Like, did those words, did you
100%.
hear what was going through? Like, when you hear those little voices, what was it like? What was it saying to you? What exactly was going through your mind?
It's funny because all these voices are in my mind like every day. I'm not gonna lie, because it was said to me so much every day. It's like I say sometimes my mind is in the past where I think it's a bad thing, but it's what's happened, so I can't, it can't just go away. It's in my mind all the time. Even in the ring, of course, I went over it before I got in the ring. It was in my mind. With the people, the stuff that was said to me, the doubters, because I was never even supposed to even set foot in the ring, and I was having my first pro fight. So I completely, before I got the win, already, I went past the expectations of what they expect me to do. So, that wasn't enough for me. For me in the ring, all that blocked, I had the voice in my mind, but I used that to, inflict the pain that I went through. Of course, my opponent can't go through the same thing, but I had to give him a taste of it, a taste of what I went through, something so he can remember, that I'm not there to play, and it's my time. What I've been waiting for all them years, it's just coming to reality. Something I've been waiting for all my life, and of course, with your advice, you checking up on me, ringing me before the fight, so reminding me what I'm there for. That definitely helped a lot, because I went there on my own. So you definitely played a part in that, and that support I had.
And I think it's interesting, and I want everyone to kind of like pick up on it, because he's flown out to have a fight by himself. Just you, no supporters. Obviously, I would have loved to be there, but the timing didn't work for us, and it's impressive, because this is really what I try to say to everyone, that for me, I've also learned that when you're going through stuff, a lot of the times everything's down to you. And one of the things that you've mentioned that's really good is about visualizing your future.
The vision from the beginning.
Like you need to visualize yourself in that ring.
I already envisioned myself becoming world champion before. I'm not even there yet, but I see myself. I know where I see myself. I just got to work towards it. Just stay focused, and not let anyone come in my way. Like, of course, at times you have distractions, or people trying to distract you or trying to get in your way, and people trying to steer you off the path that you're on. But you gotta just have the right people around you, and just stay focused and keep that vision in your mind, and just do everything and what you can to get there, day by day, and just focus on yourself, because you're only competing with yourself. You're not competing with no one else. Everyone's on their own journey. So that's the advice I would give to the people. And
So when you stepped in and the punches started, what was going through your mind? Because now you're in it.
Yeah, in it. That's it.
Now this is like reality. This is what you have been dreaming of.
It's what I've been dreaming of. But when you're dreaming of, when you're in a ring, it's completely different. Of course, it's war. It's like there's no turning back. One punch can change the fight. One punch. When you go in there, of course, I know I may not even make it out the ring. It's boxing, so you have to know the risk at the same time. My life can end in the ring. But of course, I was willing to risk my life. For what I believe in, just to fulfill what. You have to risk it for whatever you believe in. You go risk. You don't know the outcome. Anything can happen, but as long as you take the risk and you go in there believing in what you believe in, no matter what happens, no matter what the outcome is, because of course I went in there thinking or believing I'm gonna win, but you just don't know what can happen. It's boxing. With boxing, it's unpredictable. You just don't know what will happen next. You don't know if you could make it at the ring, or your face would be on the canvas.
So how did you feel when you actually got your hands raised and they kind of said you're the winner for this?
It was a relief. I felt very relieved inside, because it's like, that's it. It's not that's it, but it's like, that's it. I got the win. I wasn't even supposed to get here. I've been written off, but I knew, so I got the win. I wasn't really excited about it like that, because I always knew it's just a one pro fight. It's just the first win. Like for me, of course I visioned myself much greater than that. Of course, becoming a world champion and
just
stuff.
Overcoming that first step.
It was a relief.
Get into the ring. Did you think about that? Now I've proven all you guys wrong. All you doubters, all you people that never believed in me. Yes, it's only one fight, but no one even thought I'd get into a ring in the first place.
With that, it was a big relief, because no one even thought I would get in the ring. So that, of course, it was for me the win, but at the same time, of course, they're never going to be satisfied. Still, the doubters, they're going to find something else. I've had this pro fight. That's it. He's done. He's not going to go back. But I knew at that point the work is not done. I got a lot of work to do. That was just one. That's one fight. That's gone now. People forgot about that now. When was it last year? Probably, this guy's done. He's not fighting again.
They're just waiting for you to lose now. The next fight.
Yeah, exactly. He's gonna lose. They was waiting for me to trip. That fight is done. They forgot about it. They know now. He had one fight. He went to Mexico. They're probably gonna find another excuse. He went to Mexico, or just always find reasons. Downplay what you did. you know, that's how it is. They always come with something
let's
new.
talk about what. So when's your next fight?
Next fight is March the 5th.
So how do you feel now that you've had the first fight out? You know, what's the feeling like now going into another fight?
It feels much better actually, because I had that first pro fight. Even after that fight, I kind of course you have doubts, and I kind of, you know, I was in Mexico, Tijuana for quite a while, and of course, remember I speak to you on the phone. I didn't know. I just mentally, because of course you go through some days, you have ups and downs, and you have like trials that you go through, especially mentally growing up. Of course, everything that was said to me, that does affect you. You know, over the years, I was saying, so going through that, you know, I would say I probably, you know, the trauma I faced growing up, like I was saying, that affects you. So sorry, what was the question?
No, I was saying that the second fight, how do you feel going into the second fight now that you've had the first fight?
Yeah, I just feel confident. You know, it's just another fight now, because I've got the first one out of the way. So now when I go in, I'm confident. It's like there's nothing that I haven't seen, because I've had the first fight. It's that experience. The opponent's probably similar. It's just another fight, and it's just I'm not thinking too much about the fight. I'm thinking about the bigger picture. So of course I got to be 100. I can't overlook my opponent at the same time. But it's bigger than that. So once I get this guy, the way be another guy, you know, just got to line them up, and hopefully I just keep getting through all of them, and then, you know, I just you know, cement my legacy, and, you know, leave something behind, you know, so people know that never to give up, and just keep going no matter what, no matter where you end up. You know, your career can end any time. You know, you have a bigger picture. I want to be world champion, of course, but you just don't know, anything can happen. You just got to take it one day at a time,
one day at a time,
and I just got to keep winning as long as I can. You know, if I lose, it's part of life. Like I was saying before, you know, in life you win or you lose. If I don't lose in the ring, I lose outside the ring. You know, someone in your family may pass away, or something may happen, you know, could be an obstacle in your way. You're gonna have losses and wins. That's part of life. You know, it's never gonna be a straight road. You know, it's always bumps in the road. So you just got you know, pick yourself up and keep going regardless of what's happening.
Honestly, it's been very humbling listening to that, because for me,
I'm just speaking from my heart, man. This is how I feel. It's a lot more to say. I mean, I'm passionate about it. You know, it's all from my heart, man. It's a lot of pain over the years. You know, I hope people can learn from what I'm saying, and, you know, just if they're going through something, just listen to what I'm saying, and just know you're not alone, and just stay focused. And of course, put your faith in God. That comes, I forgot to mention, of course, having God there, knowing you gotta always, you know, put your trust in God. You know, whatever He's planned out for you will happen. You know, God's already planned out your life, regardless of what people say. You know, He knows best. He's the best of planners. Just put your trust in God.
And that's going to be another topic that we need to talk about, because you're Muslim.
Yeah, I'm Muslim. Yeah.
And Dr. Timey's Christian.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that we have a good relationship. And I've always wanted to. I've always said it. You know, to friends, family, and anyone around that. I think people make religion bigger. You know, like you said, put your trust in God.
You have to put your trust
in
God, man.
It's all about that relationship with God. Do you know what I mean? You know, but people get too fixated with the nitty gritty of judging people in religion. But that's another topic we're gonna, you know, there's a lot to talk about. But yeah, you know, that's something else that we're gonna.
You gotta have your faith in God, man. Like, God will never level it. People can let you down, of course, but God can't let you down. He's always gonna be there. God, you know, put your trust in God, and then you see how your life, you know, turns out. Man, guys, honestly, I've really enjoyed this conversation. Have you got Instagram? Yeah, I've got Instagram. I've got 2 Instagram accounts.
Yeah, so let the people know where to find you.
Yeah, so my main one is at 1ZZADEEN, and or just type in Izzadeen Boxing and it will all come up online. Type in IZZADEEN space boxing, and then, you know, my Insta, whatever. You know, my Facebook, even type that in Facebook, you can get a hold of me if you wanna, you know, any questions, whatever. You know, I'll always be there to, you know, I say I'm a people's champ, so I'm always, if you
man's always
there, man.
You're already dreaming of what it's like to be a champion.
100%, man. I'm already there. I'm not there yet, but I'm already there. So yeah, give me a message, whatever. You know, I'll always be there if you need anything or anything to talk about. If you got a question, you know, I'll do what I can to help. If I'm able to help you guys, whatever.
Fantastic, man. So guys, it's been lovely. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation. Follow me on Dr. Timey Official and the Pop Show on Instagram. Once again, guys, your guy Dr. Timey. Easy.